Hello, my friends. Army men have many hours of training to sharpen their skills and abilities in a perfect way. And even despite this intensive training, these people can get into quite surprising and sometimes funny situations. Now you will see 7 of the most improbable situations with Army men. Number 7. The capture of the naval vessels with the help of the cavalry. This incredible event happened in the winter of 1795. The French army was attacking the territory of the Netherlands. The commander of the French Hussars, John Willem de Winter, decided to capture the Dutch town Den Helder. On the approaches to the city, the commander noticed that the whole enemy fleet was in the harbor. Winter was unusually harsh and all the ships were caught in the ice trap. The Hussars were able to sneak in the short distance across the ice and begin to surround the ships. The Dutch sailors did not expect such a turn and had to surrender. This case was unique in history when the cavalry was able to capture enemy ships. Number 6. The stupefying of the enemy. During World War I, the Turks attacked the British colonies, whereby the British struck back against the Ottoman Empire. The Turks were forced to withdraw in Sharia and barricaded themselves inside the fortress. English scout Richard Meinershagen invented a crafty plan how to outwit the enemy. From an aircraft, leaflets with propaganda and cigarettes were dropped on the fortress. The Turks were delighted to get such an unexpected gift and began to smoke the cigarettes. But they did not know that there was opium in them instead of tobacco. The next day, when the British attacked Sharia, they met practically no resistance, as many of the Turkish army men were in the dope because of the opium. Number 5. A member of 3 armies. In 1938, 18-year-old Korean Yang Kyung-jang came to serve in the Japanese army. He fought against the Red Army on the Halkin Gol. Yang was captured and sent to a labor camp. However, in 1942, the Soviet Union was in a difficult situation, and all possible resources were used against attacking the Germans. As a result, Yang became a soldier of the Red Army and fought against the Germans. In 1943, he was captured again, this time by the Germans during the liberation of Kharkov. At this time, Germany was in urgent need of soldiers, and Yang began to fight on the side of Hitler. In the summer of 1944, the Korean was captured again, but by the Americans. After that, Yang decided that 3 different armies were already more than enough for him and did not join the 4th one. Number 4. The attack on the imaginary enemy. L. Ron Hubbard is known as the founder of Scientology. However, he is also remembered for his extraordinary act when he served in the naval forces of the United States. In May of 1943, Ronald headed the ship that hunted Japanese submarines. In the morning of the 19th of May, he saw something on the sonar and he said it looked like a Japanese submarine. 2 days later, a small fleet which came to the aid of Ronald already tried to destroy the boat. During this time, several ships have released 100 depth charges. At last, the boat was never found, and command withdrew Ronald and his reinforcements. It turned out that the hapless soldier Ronald had fought all the time with a magnetic mine, which was sufficiently well known and marked on the map. As a result, Ronald was decommissioned to the shore in a supply unit, and his action was almost brought to an international scandal because he managed to attack the seabed belonging to Mexico. Number 3. Sank their flagship themselves. In 1888, the British built a battleship Victory, the most powerful ship of that time. 45-centimeter armor, 110 tons guns, the most modern engines in those days, so the British set up a really serious flagship of their fleet. The construction cost was $2 million. It was huge money in those days. However, in 1893, the British themselves accidentally drowned Victoria, not even during hostilities, but during maneuvers on parade. The parade commander, Admiral George Tryon, decided to show off to the public and ordered to make a strange maneuver. 10 ships were in 2 columns and began to turn 180 degrees toward each other on signal. However, the admiral did not realize that the radius of the battleship turn is not small. As a result, Victoria ran into another battleship, Kemperdown. The first one sank and the second one was seriously damaged. Number 2. a toilet as the cause of fighting. In 1937, the tension between China and aggressive Japan was very serious. In Beijing, there was a bridge, which was the border between the two countries at that time. In the buffer zone, there were troops of both sides ready for action. At night, July 7th, the Japanese triggered a small skirmish with the Chinese. When the shots died down, it turned out that a Japanese soldier had not returned to his post. Despite the fact that the Chinese allowed to carry out a search operation, the Japanese believed that their warrior was captured. They used this pretext to attack China in the morning of July 8th. As a result, the Second Sino-Japanese War, which became part of the Second World War, began. The missing soldier was found on the same day. It turned out that he returned to his post and explained his absence by saying he had to go to the toilet. Number 1. Simultaneous catapulting. In the 70s of the 20th century, Turkish pilots trained at the U.S. Air Base Pompano Beach. During one of the flights on a deck attack aircraft, A4 Skyhawk, the engine failed. The frightened Turkish pilot immediately reported it to the flight operations officer and was ordered, "The Turkish pilot, catapult immediately." Unfortunately, at this time, in the air above the base, there were 5 aircraft with Turkish pilots who immediately complied with the order without missing a beat. So the U.S. Air Force lost 6 new aircraft, and the Turkish pilots' training was stopped. Thanks for watching this, my friends. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel.